I have the ladies with me again, as always, Veronica and Adria.
Hello, hello.
Over to you all.
Well, hello, everyone. It is March 28th, show number 94. We are approaching the 100th show very quickly. And I know I've been telling you guys that I have some special news for you, but not yet. Not just yet. This is like the present for Christmas that you asked for. We're going to see if you get it or not. Maybe next week I'll be able to tell you all about your early Christmas surprise. But this is where you join Tyler Flipman Taylor, the beautiful Miss Veronica, and myself, where you ask the questions, I read the questions, and they answer the questions in regards to flipping houses and wholesaling real estate. As Ty said, we're available and streaming live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Oh, Rio 23, you say you're ready. TK says, what's up? And I've been hearing her voice in my headphones for so long. It's really her. Who's really who? Huh? Oh, I guess he's only listened to it. Maybe he hasn't actually watched the videos. But I forgot what I was saying. So, wow. If you're not new here, you know what to do. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure you tell me your name and your location. We like to cater your question and cater the answer to your questions to your area. Veronica, tell the people's hi.
Hello.
All right, guys, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. For whatever reason, I cannot see you on YouTube. What are you doing?
Should be there.
Well, let's see. Oh, there it is. It's live. I am slacking. Okay. Sorry about that little tech glitch on my behalf. But on YouTube, Mr. Zeno, Trenton, Anthony Blake, James, Patrick, Vanna Nation, Charles Jenkins. I see you, faithful subscribers. Jumping right into this thing, Mr. Zeno wants to know, choosing a virtual assistant program to train employees with. Maybe he's asking, how would you go about building a virtual assistant system?
I mean, Zoom is a good virtual system where everyone can jump on Zoom and be able to have a face-to-face interaction type of meeting or conference call. Zoom is a good place to start some type of virtual business, be able for all of you all to jump on that Zoom call and have a conversation kind of face-to-face but virtual. What else you think, Ty?
He was asking how can he communicate with them?
No. I'm seeing that he actually selling the idea to lenders and investors, a virtual assistant system, a program to train employees with. It was like in bits and pieces. So I think maybe he was saying that's something that he wanted to put out there. That sounds like a good something to do. I'm sure if that's the case, if you're building this program, you already know what sources you can use for that. So work that out. Let us know how that goes. Mr. Gigi, Kansas City, Missouri. I see you. What's up, baby D? And Rubenificent on Instagram from California. This is your brand new first time joining. Thank you. Shonda on Instagram wants to know, how do I know what fee to charge for my wholesaling fee? So I guess how to determine what you're going to get paid.
Okay. I think that's a really great question. The way that I determine that, I kind of backdoor it in. So you kind of want to run your numbers. You want to know what you have and what is that spread. One thing I do understand that a deal below 70% of ARV is a good deal. So I kind of work my numbers backwards. So if you know the ARV, if you know the purchase price and you know somewhat of a rehab estimate, you can kind of backdoor that in and see what your spread is. So if I put it in regular numbers, I guess, because that was kind of broad, say for instance, your ARV is 100,000. You was picking up a property for 30,000 that only needs 10,000 worth of work. At $100,000, a lender will lend up to 70%. So honestly up to $70,000 that lender will be able to lend. So it's actually a good deal up to $70,000. Therefore, if you are all in at 45,000, but your spread will be between 45 and 75 on that particular scenario. So that kind of lets you know what your playground is, and or whatever the case may be. So if I would have to sum that up, backdoor your numbers and then determine what spread that you have in that once you kind of backdoor your numbers. Yeah.
Any input, Ty?
So therefore, you need to know your numbers. You need to have some type of rehab budget estimate in your mind. You need to know the ARV, and of course, you know the purchase price. So.
Go ahead.
Okay. James Wellen, new to the page. Welcome. Glad you can join us. He's from Detroit. We have several people in the feed. I know Shaq from West Side D-Town, and there are several others. So welcome, welcome. And I also see the F Card on Instagram. After months of deployment, you finally catch a live show. Well, thank you for your service, Mr. Card, and thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you here. Hopefully you can jump right into this wholesaling game. Her hair culture says a condo building with individual owners. I see a realtor sign in front, but on PropStream, I see individual owners, some absentee. Can I still push postcards to those owners?
Absolutely. Absolutely. To me, condominiums is a gold mine that everyone kind of overskipped because of the HOAs that is involved with having a condo. But the numbers make sense. The numbers can still make sense. So all condominiums are individually owned. So a condominium will look just like an apartment, but instead of it saying luxury apartments, it'll say luxury condos or condominiums. When anything that say condominiums mean that everything is individually owned in that particular complex. Apartment complexes are owned by one owner. Condominiums are all owned by separate owners. So you can almost, regardless of absentee, if they live there, you can almost send an entire marketing campaign to everyone in the condominium complexes. Everybody owns those properties, regardless they're in that property, because they could be a homeowner that lives there that wouldn't mind selling their property either. So don't exclude just absentee, send it to every unit in the apartment complex. You never know, someone's friends with someone and may know about 4 other units that someone want to sell. So I will just build a whole campaign to just send it to everyone in that complex.
Okay. Miss Veronica is on Facebook. I see you. Hello and welcome. Shaquana wants to know, why do we ask how old is the roof? How old is too old? How much does a roof replacement cost?
Roof replacements is very costly. I want to say roof have like a 15, 20 year lifespan. Do you know, Tom, Todd? I want to say they have a 15, 20 year lifespan. So, that's a huge cost if you just kind of getting into a property. That can vary, but that could be a very expensive cost. So, people just want to know how old, so they know they can kind of calculate that deferred maintenance in their mind. Okay, if there's something, if I pick up this property today, can I wait 5 years to repair the roof, or is this something I need to do immediately? Because of course you cannot sell a property, there's holes in the roof and things of that nature, so you have to repair it. So it's just a question that people want to know, so they can kind of put in their mind any of that deferred maintenance that they need to take into consideration.
Okay, thanks for answering that. Welcome, Ty.
I'm trying to help us up there, man. I'm trying to see what, Brady. We're good. Hey,
they like hearing you say hey to
Let's rock.
Okay, let's see here. Charles Jenkins, hello team, good to see everyone. Yeah, I already spoke to you. Hey, Charles. Arthur, Mr. Gigi, let's see here. Felicia Angel has a question. I've had a seller ask me if I'm a wholesaler. I think we get this asked every week, so everybody listen up. How should I respond to this question? First of all, should we say that most sellers aren't going to even ask you if you're a wholesaler? That should be a red flag in itself, using that term. And just if they did, what do we say, Renika?
That's actually a good question. What I would say for that, no, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm a seasoned real estate investor that I do have a database of properties that I could wholesale to you.
All right, there you have it. I think it's safe to say that never present yourself as a wholesaler.
Right.
And
you're an investor. You're a seasoned investor.
And don't even bring it up. That might be what you're doing, but that's no need to discuss that. Let's see here. Marie says, I'm about to begin the journey here in Bronx, New York. My goal is to be interviewed by Ty when I lay my first check. Love you all and thank you for all you do for us, Romy. Oh, much love. Yay. Lovey Light and Tanisha Clark from Huntsville and Mississippi.
Don't say that.
Welcome. Okay. Oh, I am so sorry, guys. I am absolutely slow. Okay, so our next question is going to be, how do you go about putting a property under contract that isn't in the same state as the owner? Now, often
we love them.
So often we say, what if the property isn't in the same state as you? But this is a little different spin because it's not in the same state as the owner, which could also not be in the same state as you either.
Well, I guess he means the house is where he lives, but the owner doesn't live there. I'm assuming that's what he means.
Okay.
Yeah, we love those. You know, when the owner is not there. And matter of fact, when they don't live in the market and they're not coming to the market, even better. So you just use technology. Either you use the old, still technology in a sense because it takes one day to get it. Either it's going to be closed by mail, either FedEx or UPS, or just email, right? As far as the closing process, because they just need to get the documents over to them, they sign them. Some closing attorney title come to just file with e-signatures, whereas some will want them to get hard copies and get them notarized and send back. So it's just going to depend on who's handling the closing. But as far as putting the deal together, your main thing is that you just need to have access to the property. So someone on the ground, I've had sellers even mail me keys. Matter of fact, I had a recent deal that didn't turn into a deal. The lady said she didn't have money to mail the keys to me. So I went to Walmart and sent her $40. I haven't gotten the keys. That's been about 2 months ago.
Wow.
But it was worth the risk because the deal was going to be broken. It was a house and a condo that she was basically going to give away or whatever.
She need to sell that. She definitely need to sell that.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow back up with it. She was having all type of medical issues and stuff or whatever. Hope she's still living. And so, but my point is that first thing you got to make sure that you get access to the property. And then if you get access to the property, then they make it real easy for you to show it to your local buyers. You don't have to worry about a seller being there. They don't have to meet at closing. Everything is just handled. Now the your buyer probably be local and they'll probably bring in, the funds signed as they normally would, but the seller they probably already have their information or whatever, and it just boom. So what did I miss there, Veronica?
I think you got it. That's perfect.
Those are we love that. You want an out of town owner? Oh man.
Absolutely. It's the same process. The only difference is the closing, which would be probably an out-of-state closing. An out-of-state closing is pretty much the attorney will mail them the documents. Like Ty said, they would notarize it and mail it back overnight with the wet copy, with the hard signatures, and it's pretty much a simple transaction. So it's the same process. Don't overthink it.
All right, there you have it. Hope that answers some questions for some that you were thinking about writing and you didn't. Come on, guys, write your questions. Don't be afraid. I shall read them. Let's see here. Good to see you as well. James is from Detroit also. Let's see here. Sticking with the question from YouTube, Mr. Business has his first contract signed today, but he's trying to find comparables in the area, and not enough houses have sold in the area for a good comp. How can I find out what to sell it for?
That's a good question. When there's not a lot of comps immediately, like within the subdivision or a quarter mile, you just want to just continue to go out a quarter mile, you know, a half a mile, you know, a mile, mile and a half. Just continue to go out until you can find your comps.
Or
But
sometimes,
what kind of house is it? I mean, is it a regular, it's a regular home?
yeah, sometimes the square footage will throw it off. If you use some of the normal, I know with just using Daily AK PropStream, you have to, sometimes you may have to adjust the square footage because the size of the house may not be the normal size for that neighborhood. So it won't pull any comps. And what I mean by that is that the normal size may be 1,200 to 1,500 one way and back to 1,000 the other way, right? So between 1,000 and 1,500 square feet, I guess I should have just said that. But this house is 750 square feet, or it's 2,500 square feet. So what I like to do is, in those cases, I'm going to look at houses like the house next door on both sides and the house across the street and compare those to see, oh, so those houses, they're more in line to 1,200 to 1,300 square feet, but your house is 750 square feet, or your house is 2,500. It's not in the norm of those other houses. So that could be an issue also, or whatever. The square footage is not matching up with the default settings of whatever search criteria, search system you're using to identify comps in that area. So it could be that also.
Okay, so while we're talking about comps, aka ARVs, what about in the country?
Oh, problems.
Problems. From Keith Bolton, he wants to know how to calculate an ARV for homes in the country. And by country, we mean they're
rural.
Spaced out.
Well, no, it just means rural, not heavily populated. That's what he's probably means.
I know what that means, but I'm just saying. Yeah. So they're probably not sold as often.
Yeah, not a lot. There's not a lot of
space
transactions
in between. And if it's family land, my house might be a mansion compared to the little
farmhouse right next door.
So what do you do then?
Like where I grew up, where I'm from, all my people, I don't know. I guess I never looked into it. I don't know how they come up with values because it's so rare people sell. You know, they buy and die on those properties. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how they come up with it. I guess I just could look into it, but it's just not going to be. Well, I put it like this: I'm from a town. The population is less than 600. So
stop playing. It's less than 400.
600.
400.
What y'all got? Y'all got a stop sign and no stop, no light?
A traffic light and a caution light.
Oh, everybody know each other. Everybody know each other.
Family. Oh yeah. A grocery store was probably gonna go out of business because Dollar General is there.
All right.
You got a convenience store.
Piggly Wiggly or something.
No, we're not big enough for Piggly Wiggly. Oh no. Oh no.
What y'all doing out there, Alabama?
An IGA. Hey, you got a convenience store where you can get some catfish.
You got everything you need.
Puppies, macaroni, cheese. Now they big. It's stuff like that is big.
A convenience store with catfish.
But it's just not a lot of transactions, a lot of mobile homes or whatever. So I'm assuming that's the type of areas. That's the extreme, but there's a lot of areas, small town areas like that. So you're probably just going to have to go on what the tax value is. Probably that's what appraisers will go on in those areas, because a lot of times a lot of land comes with those properties. So it's probably just going to have to base it on the assessed value that the county has placed on it, and just do your formula from there. That's what I would do.
All right. So guys, we're about 30 minutes in, maybe 20 because we started a little late. And on your screen there is going to be the information on how you can get in contact with Miss Veronica. But you might want to know, why would you want to get in contact with Miss Veronica other than the obvious? Hey, but Miss Veronica, tell them what services your company provides to individuals wanting to dig a little deeper into this real estate game.
Absolutely. So I want to just briefly talk about this POUR acronym that I have on this flyer. POUR is not a financial state. It's a mind state. You know, a lot of times POUR is passed over opportunities repeatedly. You will have major opportunities on your journey and on your path that will present itself, but depending on if you take advantage of those opportunities or you don't, would determine if you will increase over your life journey. So take advantage of those opportunities that present itself. If it's too good to be true, it may be, but do your due diligence. Other than that, I am the founder of Fortune Key Financials, and our focus is to help you find the resources that you need to start your real estate investing or to start your real estate portfolio. We provide a number of financial loans and lines of credit for you to help you build your real estate portfolio. One of our main services is help you leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000 of unsecured lines of credit. If you want to take advantage of your credit, just go to fundmynextdeal.com and you see all of the different handles of getting in contact with me as well.
All right, guys, there you have it. I will make sure that I post this up again towards the end of our show. Don't miss these opportunities, guys. Too many resources out here, just right here in this room, in this virtual room for you not to be making money or making, headway into the real estate, wholesaling, flipping, buying whole, all of that. Too much information right here. I love it that Hair Culture on Instagram says Flipman has over 300 videos. It's over 350 now, maybe. On YouTube, and they are amazing. All the answers, I was completely amazed. Me too. Absolutely amazed. And the thing is, guys, free information from beginning to end, absolutely free. You're not paying a thing for what you can find on YouTube. Now, if you have additional questions, you want your handheld, that's something totally different. But what you're not going to say is that Ty is not providing you with the information that you need to jump right out here in this thing. This is the same information that you go to these seminars, you see the flyers in the mail, you hear the radio ads. Come join us this weekend. We're going to tell you how to flip houses, get a free invitation, get there and get ready to drop them coins.
Yes.
Same information. It's a baby switch game, baby. Baby
30,000.
Yes. And it ain't cheap. So take advantage to these videos and tutorials and Flippinars. We're here every Thursday, guys. But enough of that. Next question. It's from a guy, Rio, on Instagram. He wants to know, and listen up, guys. Good question. How do I actually speak to a seller? I know I'm not supposed to say I'm wholesaling your house. I'm 100% concerned and not upsetting them at the closing table when I surprisingly make $20,000 and didn't tell them. I have this thing that I say at work all the time. Don't care nothing about it. Don't care nothing about it. Okay, but seriously, answer this question, Rena.
That's a really good question. I mean, that's like role play. I will say something. I'll let Ty, say how he's feel it. But I give a seller a call if I find a property. I give them a call and I tell them, hey, I am a managing partner, whoever I am, my business name, and I'm a seasoned investor, and I'm looking in your subdivision and find your property and want to see if it's for sale. If it is for sale, can you tell me a little bit about your property? And then they're going to start spilling about the details of their property. Ask them, is there any major repairs that needs to be done to their property? Ask them as much questions about it as possible. My whole motto with this first conversation is whoever say numbers first will always lose. So never be the person to say your offer first. Allow them to tell you what they want for their property, because they could be thinking 20,000 and you offer 40,000. You just cut yourself short on that scenario. So always make them give you an offer price first. If they say, just offer me something, lowball them, because it's always a bottom line number that they know they would not take. So have them to provide that offer first, and then ask them to give you access to the property so you can go in and do a little bit more due diligence on it. So keep that conversation simple, less about you and more about the property.
All right, there you have it. Ty, look at there. Mr. Morris James on YouTube is asking for a recommendation, and so is Mr. Darius King on Facebook. Mr. Morris says, do you have any recommendations for real estate investor software to locate motivated sellers, comps, marketing, CRM, etc.? And Mr. King says, when using Dealulator, can it help me grow my business? And if so, how?
Well, glad for my brother tuning in tonight and asking that softball question.
the part.
But yeah, it's amazing software. I wouldn't promote it the way I do if I didn't believe in it. Obviously, I'm a reseller of it, so I do make some money from it. Don't get me wrong, but it's very useful. I use it just daily because it's just a wealth of information. It's just so many ways because of the way it's set up in the tools. The way you would go about maybe researching properties and what you're looking for to generate leads, I may do something different and vice versa. But to answer your question, it's a check on all of those that it is going to give you property information, transaction history, if there is some, mortgage information, obviously comparable sales. You can build lists there. And I was talking to someone earlier today about it, and they were asking me, what did I think about targeting corporate owners to solicit them for properties? And I explained to him, well, then it just a bell went off, is that most people that put properties in entities, I'm going to say a large number of those are going to be investors. Would you go along with that, Veronica?
Absolutely. Yes.
Corps.
Yes.
So you could actually take that and build a list and just reach out to them. You probably have to sift out banks because they'll be listed under the under corporate also. But those are people always worrying about cash buyers. Now you may not be able to get phone numbers for some of those entities, but just send them a letter. Just create a standard letter and let them know who you are. Maybe create a website so they can reference just to look for deals that you have in your market or whatever market you're targeting. So it just does so many different things. So definitely you can see it on the screen, dailylate.com. Got a couple of things coming additional that's going to be outside of PropStream coming, and we can work out the kinks. I think you guys are really enjoy these tools. At this point, I'm gonna let them. I'll let them be. They'll be free as a free option, but that's probably going to change. But we'll see. Then I got something coming out next week about probates. It should be an interview with an expert in probate and a way to access lists on a monthly basis if that's your thing. Because a lot of people ask about it. I've always said it's not my thing because I don't want to go down to the courthouse. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it is. So they simplified that process, but you'll hear more about that. And as mentioned last week, I thought I have it this week, but there's a new website coming based on that. Completed name was available, but you know how I do. Y'all will be the first to know probably about Tuesday or Wednesday, if not before.
All right, there you have it. DoYouLater.com. DoYouLater.com. Okay, guys, Lavi Lights. Ty, you be proud of Miss Lavi or Mr. Lavi. They ordered the No Excuse Bandit signs with the ebook. They placed 5 out in the town I'm from and going to do a few in the city I'm living in now, which is an hour away. Would I be doing too much? The city I'm in now is bigger and a college town. You ain't ever doing too much. You can never not do enough.
Well, it's only 100 signs, which I say only. That's a good start. You don't want to go to the other town. 5 is not a lot. That's a good start to put 5 out. You've never done it before. You want to see how many of those stay up, but you need to get all 100 of those out. Don't put them all out at one time, because the worst thing I would hate for you to do is put them all out and they all come down or whatever. You have to re-up or whatever. So go out and put another 15, maybe wait 3 or 4 days, see how many of those stay up. But ideally, with bandit signs, my rule of thumb, especially if you've never done it before, scout your market out and see where bandit signs already exist. I know we always want to be by ourselves. We would like to be the only McDonald's and the only hamburger joint in the world, but that's not so. Let the people that have already tested your market show you, hey, this is where you can get away with bandit signs. Part of your market, you're not going to be able to do that. So do some driving. At the same time, you could be doing driving for dollars or whatever. To scout out your market, understand where you can get away with bandit signs and where you can't. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Jennifer Miner, I hope you heard that, what Ty just said, because her question was, are there any restrictions to using bandit signs here in Birmingham? Do you have to worry about being fined? I guess this is the disclaimer, guys.
I don't put out bandit signs in Birmingham, Alabama.
That's right, not at all. Never. Who would do such a thing?
Exactly. Whoa, not me.
Foolish.
But I've heard that you can put them out here in certain areas. 35201, 35206, 35215, some of it, 35208, 35218, 25064, 35228, 35020. Those are all zip codes that I've heard that you can put them out in.
Heard, keyword, heard. No legal representation is made that the status of
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
That's never gonna talk about that they again. If y'all are frequent listeners, you know about they, so you cannot listen to what they say. Okay,
Nice.
Jennifer,
She's in Birmingham. It's bandit signs every doggone where. They everywhere.
Yeah, where you fit in.
No, man.
Okay, speaking of that, entrepreneur Lloyd on Instagram wants to know, what's the best marketing strategy these days? Is there one? Is there one? There can't be just one.
No, it ain't just one. Some of it just based on your resources, the time you have to put into it, and your comfort level. But ideally, you want to have multiple things going. You don't have to have everything going, but you want to have multiple things going, whether it's bandit signs, direct mail, cold calling, driving for dollars, other wholesalers, even real estate agents, if you know what you're doing, ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, out-of-shell website, Google AdWords can be very expensive but very effective. So yeah,
social media ads.
Social media ads, all that. Yeah.
I don't think Miss Arlene Robinson, Renika, this is for you. She's got the website, but did we give a number? She wants to know on the Fund My Deal, is there a number instead of implying on the net?
There's not a number. However, when you submit yourself on the site, you will get the office number. So when you just go through it, and you will get all of the office numbers, contact information, so you can contact us directly. And you will also get an email immediately that'll have all of our contact numbers on there as well.
All right, there you have it. I hope you heard that. Let's see here. On Instagram, sent out 200 postcards that started arriving yesterday. When should I expect calls to start coming in? Or am I being impatient? Yesterday?
Yeah,
you haven't made it through the post office yet.
No, the US
keep it moving. Get your whole nother batch. Start on your next batch.
Start on your next
Don't
batch.
sit down on these postcards.
Hey, expect those 200 not to produce no leads. So start to do more.
Keep moving like you exactly.
Yeah, start to do more. Expect those postcards not to do anything. Compound. The next time we talk to you 4 weeks from now, you want to be up to 1,000 that you sent out, right?
Exactly.
But to answer your question, the USPS, which is the United States Postal Service, they will not get there tomorrow. So you sent them out yesterday, they're not getting there today. Using them anyway. So if you did overnight off, it would have been very expensive, but there you go.
And then that's a constant flow. You just got to continue to constantly send out postcards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. It's the same thing. You got to think about how often and what kind of postcards you sent out and what kind of yellow letters you sent out. You got to think about all of that. Because just think about how much junk mail that you receive on a daily basis and how much do we really go through. You know I don't go through half of my junk mail. I throw it right in the trash before I even leave the mailbox area. So you gotta think like the person who's receiving the mail. So you think like the person receiving the mail. How often do we throw that mail away? So and you almost got to hit them 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the mailbox before they really even pay attention to your mail. Sometimes I like the postcards that Flipman has right here that puts the picture on there, because that gets your attention. A picture of my house on a postcard will get my attention. So you got to stand out. So you make sure that you can get the receiver's attention.
We kicking you off the team. We throwing you home runs and you missing it.
Oh, okay.
What's the postcard service though?
What? Opening day was yesterday. What we missed? A whole nother word, y'all. Shaq Smith from Detroit West Side. I see you finally joined us. Guys, he said he was boarding up a broken window on one of his wholesale deals. Yeah, people, that's a part of this biz. It is. Sometimes you got to maintain the property and make sure it looks good when the buyers come through. I mean, if that means going over there and boarding up windows. Sometimes, Ty, what about this? Have you ever had to cut the grass on the property to make it more presentable?
I've done that before.
Yeah, that could be a part of it too.
I have also rung a maid in to clean it up a little bit.
I've done that too.
I mean, if you got it cheap enough and you need to move it, and if it needs a little cosmetic work, what's the big deal with you going over there mowing the grass, paying someone, boarding up the window, or going in at least throwing some shout and Clorox against the walls or something fabulous to it, make it look fabulous. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. If it's worth it, it's worth it. As Renika always says, if the numbers make sense, the numbers make sense. And so
exactly,
got to do. Rashid, Instagram, and I think it was like 3 other people. And we kind of skip over it, but I'm going to ask it, Renika, wants you to explain subject twos. Everybody wants to know about subject twos.
Okay, subject to is pretty much you buy the property subject to the existing mortgage. So basically is when an existing mortgage is still exists on the property. Therefore you have to buy it and somewhat take over the existing mortgage. There's a couple ways that can be done where they actually put you in place with the mortgage company where you pay it directly, or the owner of the property still has control. You pay the owner and they pay the mortgage, but you're buying it subject to the existing mortgage is pretty much what a subject to is.
All right. Again, hope you guys were listening.
And it's usually more of a lease purchase type of option. Instead of a straight buy, it's more like a lease purchase. So someone will lease purchase their home subject to the existing mortgage being on the property.
Okay. Ty, I clicked off of Facebook for a second. Darius King wants to know, can you skip trace with Deal You Later too?
Yeah, it has a skip tracing feature. There's some better ones out there. I'll, just be straight up on that. What I'll do is I'll build my list there, and I'll upload the list to Mojo Dialer. You don't have to pay for the dialer itself. You can just pay for the reverse phone lookup if you want. And so I'll build the list and Deal Later upload there. Their service seems to be a little bit more accurate. So so that's to answer your question, you can try it out on a few numbers.
Okay, and going back to the question that was on Instagram with the 200 postcards, I guess she did like a notification. They arrived yesterday. She knows they got into the mailboxes yesterday. She sent them out on the 20th, and they started arriving. Okay. And she's sending out more now. So she gave me days.
Okay, well, yeah.
They do.
But don't get discouraged if you don't get one call. Don't get discouraged. Continue to send out your postcards. Continue to send them out and just continue to build on it. Eventually, people will start calling.
200 is not a lot in the direct mail.
200 is not a lot. Yeah,
it's not a lot.
But it's more than 0.
It's more than nothing. Yeah.
Right. I agree.
All
right.
All
it takes is one call. So
Darius King says he needs a 5 shirt as well.
Oh, yeah. Go to I think that's still up. thefob.com, thefobb.com. There you go.
Another website.
Shazam.
Okay, let's see here. Going to YouTube, Deviate wants to know, how do you market to your cash buyers? We talk a lot about trying to get the motivated sellers. You got the property now, find the buyer. How do you market to cash buyers? Same way?
Almost the same way.
Well, yeah, you're gonna do a lot of the same things. Depending on the area, some handwritten bandit signs in blue collar areas seem to work a little bit better, but I guess they'll work anywhere. But they just know I'm not going to stay up in the other areas. So you can use those house for sale, cash cheap price, or cheap house for sale, 38,000, and your phone number. Other wholesalers Even real estate agents, to get the right ones, they can have a slew of investors. Some of them only deal with the investors or whatever. Obviously, you want to definitely don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace. Definitely don't do that. Don't sleep on it. Craigslist is still what it is. What else? Now, Day Later offers an opportunity to build a cash buyers list, but you understand, just like I was speaking about a little while ago, you can just select all corporate. You just make sure you sift out the lenders there. And you can use that as an option, but understand when it says cash buyer, it doesn't say it's cash investor. It just says cash buyer. So some of those are going to be owner occupied. So you may build a list of, we'll just say 150 for a particular area within your market, but only 40 of those are being possible investors. But that's 40, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot. So just keep that in mind. But those are some ways. Veronica probably has more.
Yeah, I think no, those are it. I think you just end up building cash buyers over time. But if you think about it, everyone is a buyer, in so many instances. So always marketing to everyone. I mean, everyone is a buyer of real estate, no matter if they're buying their first property or whatever the case may be. You never know who people know either. Also, you want to begin to network in certain areas that people with money is. They're not going to be at the local bar. They're not going to be at, the average place. You want to find the steak houses. They're at the bar at the steak houses. They're at the cigar spots. You want to put yourself at the table. So to really, really find cash buyers, people that's buying 10, 15 homes a month, versus someone who may buy one property from you a year, there's a difference. And also, I remember when I first started this business, everyone was like, oh, I got to get my buyers list. I got to get my buyers list. Your buyers list mean nothing if you got 100 people on there that's not buying. So I'd rather have one good one that's going to buy 10 properties from me a month than to have 100 people on my buyers list that's never buying anything. So understand sometimes it's quality over quantity as well when you're looking for cash buyers.
We forgot about real groups too.
And real groups, yes. Real groups, definitely.
Did you make your announcement
on
June 13th?
I don't want to know.
Okay.
On
your screen.
Go ahead.
Okay, just forget about that. On your screen, guys, you see how you can get a free copy of the one-page contract that Ty has been using. This contract can be used anywhere. It's not a deal breaker if your buyer wants to use something else, but this one-page contract is simple. It's to the point. It covers your A to B, your B to C. If I know on Instagram you can't see it, guys, but you can also text the word contract to 833-439-9632. I mentioned this because Cordero on YouTube wants to know, is double closings legal? Can you do a double close in Chicago? And he needs the contract for Chicago. How can I buy that from you? It's free. Free. You can use Ty's one-page contract again. And he also wants to know, is that contract good for foreclosures? So, one, can you double close in Chicago?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And can you use the contract for foreclosures?
Yes.
Okay. And it's free. There you go.
Yes.
See.
Well, on the foreclosure, I think they need a special contract for that. It's just a purchase and sale. At the end of the day, you're just buying a piece of real estate. The foreclosure is the motivation for someone to sell, hopefully at a price that works, but the mortgage still has to be taken in consideration. Ideally, it would be a situation where the mortgage, there's enough equity already there, regardless if they're not making payments or not, and you wouldn't have to deal with a bank and the short sale process. But that's a whole nother ball game there. It can be done, but you gotta know what you're doing on that. But to answer your question about the contract, just a purchase and sales agreement, you're just saying you're going to buy this piece of real estate. Doesn't matter that they're facing foreclosure. You still have to start that first phase of actually getting under contract. So.
Okay. For the person on Instagram, that number, if you look down in the chat, you should see it, but it's 833-439-9632. Now, someone else on YouTube asked, is it necessary for the seller to put their entire social? Absolutely not.
I don't need to remove that.
No,
it's on my contract.
Oh, wow.
I just put ENA there. You know, I should have been removed or whatever.
Not applicable. You put the last four, not wholesale. If you did not know your social security number is not supposed to be used as an identifying measure for yourself. Although everywhere you go, that's the first thing they ask you for your identity. You can tell them, no, read the back of it. Cannot be used for that purpose. Next. Okay.
And I don't have to rent a business to you either.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. That's fine. Be like that.
Rent the services, I mean, whatever, or sell you my product.
Mr. Gigi wanted to know, and again, talking about Deal You Later, guys, not trying to push it down your throat. Just there are people asking questions about it, and it is a awesome service to add to your business of wholesaling. If you're starting out, maybe not, but there's a 5-day free trial period that you can use. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe. It's not free, but the videos and this knowledge that we giving are. So at some point, you're going to have to pay for something. I mean, so at least let it be something that's going to add value to your business. And that would be it. But I only mentioned that because Mr. Gigi was asking, where are the training videos for PropStream, aka Deal You Later, to show you how to find the comps ARV of the properties and how to pull a list in large quantities. But don't you have that if you go to dealyoulater.com?
What was that last thing you asked?
Listen to me. I mean, gosh, is there a video on how to find the comps ARV of the properties and how to pull a list in large quantities on Deal You Later?
Oh yeah. I have videos explaining all that on the site. But please please watch all the videos on the actual homepage of dealyoulater.com before you sign up for it. Don't think I'm being rude when you text me and you ask a question and I know you didn't watch the video, and I refer you back to the video because it's going to explain to you better than I can respond back to you, because I'm showing you actual on screen what to do. People, just take the time out. It's free. Free knowledge is like, it's just like when somebody called me, which is so rare, say, you want to go eat somewhere, blah, blah, blah.
And
if
y'all can see my face right now, whatever.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, you know, I'm like, yeah, where we going? You know what I'm saying? It don't matter where we're going. You know,
sign me up.
Hey, I can assure you, Tyrone Taylor
is gonna find something that he's gonna eat.
I find something on the million that I eat when it's free.
Now ask me.
What? Well, no, I wouldn't even talk about you.
I know, but just ask me. You say, hey, Adrian, you want to go get something to eat?
But yeah,
and then,
oh my God.
What we eating? What they got? What time we going? I don't eat that. I don't eat that either. Nope.
You picky on free. You picky on free.
Oh, yeah, I need to do better about who I'm.
You know what? The average person is Adrian. They're picky about free stuff. You cannot be picky about free stuff.
You know what I'm talking about, man.
I hear you. It sounded golden. You cannot be picky about free stuff. It's free you ain't paying for, but I ain't just gonna eat anything.
You don't gonna eat anything, but where you gonna go somewhere that they don't have something you gonna eat?
Chicken fingers on something.
We find a salad, some lettuce or something.
Yes, cold water.
You can't eat cold water. You heard it here first. I have you somewhere eating cold waters.
Don't hang out with me on my way.
Not eating cold water.
It's free. I'll find something.
That's when you really appreciate free right there. You just, hey.
That's what's up. Okay. Ain't nothing, just to add to that, ain't nothing worse. Well, for me, you out on, you might be with a lady or something, and you say, what do you want to eat at? Oh, I don't care. And then you pull up to the place. I don't want to eat here.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
That happens.
Guilty.
You say
this ain't it, though. I don't know, but this is not it.
Well, I can tell you where I don't want to eat it. How about that?
Next question.
All right. Y'all gonna stop talking about it. Oh. Okay. Ordered. Okay, RTM, order deal you later having trouble finding sellers. How many times should I send postcards and etc.? How many times do you send postcards to the same seller? When do you repeat?
I mean, there's a little saying about 7 touches.
I guess over what time frame for you? Maybe over every couple of months, or you have one batch go to this?
I'll probably do the first 2-3 months straight. 2-3 months every month, because like I was saying earlier, how often we don't look at junk mail.
Yeah.
How often you just instantly throw it away. So, maybe having to touch them 2 to 3 times before they really, really look at that mail. Unless you have the postcard that Ty has, that has the picture of the people's house, that would get your attention. Versus just a random.
I said it might also get you.
They'll call you. That happen too now. But they'll call you when you send regular postcards with no picture. You just gonna have I don't know the word I need. You're just gonna always have fools. You know what I'm saying? You didn't actually took out time in your day to call me to say don't send no more post. Just throw it away. So you call everybody that send you junk mail and say don't send it anymore.
Right.
Come on now.
Okay, let's go back to this. Lord Almighty has I say piggybacking a lot, guys, but because sometimes at the very beginning somebody asks a question, we'll answer it, and then it'll add more. It'll make somebody else think of something that triggers it. So Lloyd wants to know what would be the reason that you would clean up a distressed property if you're selling it to an investor instead of a retail buyer. I think he's talking about when we were talking about boarding up the windows, cutting the grass, or cleaning it up a little bit. I mean, sometimes it just ain't presentable, y'all. So why would you clean up a distressed property? We're not talking about going in and doing any work. We're talking about just...
I'll give you a particular example that I recently had. So I had this investor who buys properties, but they really only want to do TLC work. So the property was almost like someone just left everything that they didn't want in the house. So it made it look more worse than what it was. So I just had someone come in and just clean up the mess. I mean, clean up all the crap, the papers and, trash. Just so when they walk in, it's a no-brainer for them. They don't have to look through the mess. I know this is what it's gonna, what works for you. So it's not always, honestly, I never, probably 2 to 3 times maybe I have done something to a wholesale property, but it's not an always case.
Yeah, at all. Most investors just can see. Most investors, she knows this investor pretty well that he can't see through the clutter. Most investors, they know the stuff gonna be there. They walk through burnouts. You know what I'm saying? But so you'll have a few of them that they just can't see through the clutter.
Right.
You have to just we clean it out. It's basically ready to go. You do whatever you're gonna do to it or whatever. So like I say, it's not been many times that I've done that. I felt I had to do it also. I did it on a couple of properties. Well, one in particular I could think about where it just was so great. It was really a nice house, but it just hadn't been touched, as far as lawn care or anything. It was just grown up everywhere. So I had somebody come over and cut the grass and just trim everything. No real manicure, and just knock everything down so you can actually see the house or whatever. So
I mean, it was.
And another thing I would say this too. Sometimes it's in a really bad area and it's wide open. The door is open. The window is busted out. People will go into this property and strip all of the electrical wires and stuff like that. So now you trying to sell this property at 50, but now since they came in the last 2 to 3 days, it's only worth 30 because they took all the electrical wires. So you think about stuff like that in certain areas too, that you just may want to kind of board it up to make sure that you don't have anybody trickling in, taking stuff, making the property less valuable.
Okay, there you have it. So it looks better to a potential buyer. That's right. Renikia, can a veteran use VA loans to flip houses?
Absolutely. You have the same, and actually you all have better terms than anyone. You can buy houses at 100%. You know, there may be a hold period. There may be a 6 months hold period, a year hold period, or something of that nature. But hold it. You know, hold it for 6 months to a year. As soon as that day after, sell it. But they'll give you 100% of everything. They'll give you 100% of the purchase price. And then the rehab loans, they'll give you 100% of the rehab as well. So if you are a VA, take advantage of you know, all the great benefits that you all have.
Okay, there you have it. All Sides says you are the realest on YouTube as far as all these other real estate investors online. As far as information, much love from Cali. Well, thank you. Thank you. I
sound like that Cali love.
California love. Okay, we're not gonna go there. Bugatti on Instagram. What's the usual deposit needed when bidding on foreclosed homes from the banks?
Usually probably 500. When you're dealing with a bank, I mean, when you're dealing with realtors, most likely you won't necessarily try to deal directly with the bank. There's possibilities that if you know how to get with the real estate departments of the bank and get with the acquisition department, but majority of the times you're probably gonna be dealing with a realtor who's representing the bank. So usually most real estate agents and brokers, they don't sell nothing less than $500 honest money, usually. Now, offer them whatever you want to offer them. And if they accept it, then, you know, start low. It's all negotiable. It's all negotiable.
Okay. Daniel Thompson, for wholesaling, does it matter to bank your LLC through a major bank or a local credit union?
For your personal business bank?
For the LLC. I don't know.
So his business bank for the LLC, he's asking, should you go with a
major bank or a local credit union? Right.
It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, you want to go with a bank that, you know, could give you favorable loans and things of that nature. But whatever bank that you use, it really doesn't matter.
Okay, Fisher Theo, what do you mean is this real? Where have you been? This is real as real gets, man. That sounds like it should be in the movie. Yes, it's real, Fisher. I would suggest you dive into 350 plus videos available on YouTube to see how real it is. People are cashing checks every day. You can too.
He said it sounded like a scandal?
No, he just said, is this real?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I get, and I've gotten better at it not to.
Why wouldn't you think it's real?
I get those comments. I run Facebook ads and Instagram ads, you know, basically, you know, blah, 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 or whatever. So I get all kind of posts. And so I've gotten better at it where I don't take it personal or whatever. And I had to. And so like one person sent a message over earlier today. He was like, go ahead. I'm gonna pull it up and read it.
Oh, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Mr.
It is so real.
Wants to know, how can a person determine market conditions for a proposed apartment building?
What's the question again?
How can a person determine market conditions for a proposed apartment building?
What type of conditions? Market?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean market conditions?
Oh, no. Clear that up for me, Mr. Zeno.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more clear on that one, man.
Yeah, okay. So guys, it's been on over an hour now. If you missed it earlier, I want you to make sure you have the opportunity to get Miss Veronica's information. Check it out right there on your screen. She has some wonderful programs that are available to you. Even if you're not quite ready yet, she has a credit program to help you get there. And if you are ready, she got something for you too. This is all about stepping your wholesaling game up and building generational wealth and using your credit to do so. Ms. Veronica, tell them about it.
Yes. So if you want to leverage your credit, if you are limited on resources, or you may have money, you just don't want to take the risk with your money, which I do recommend. Don't take all the risk with your money. Take it using OPM, other people's money. Take the risk using banks' money. So what we do is show you how to leverage your credit so you can creatively find money to invest back into yourself and into your business to grow your business. So we have a program where you can get up to $150,000 in unsecured credit to invest into your wholesale marketing. Most importantly, take your real estate to the next level and begin building generational wealth with fix and flips and buying homes. If you want to take advantage of that, you go to findmynextdeal.com. If you do want to get in contact with me or my office, you will see all the handles there. You can email me at funding@fkfinancials.com. When you do submit yourself through the findmynextdeal.com website, you will receive information about, my contact information. If you want to speak to myself, one of my staff members, if you have any questions regarding funding. So we can get you funded. You need money to get to the next level. So you could invest in yourself using your money, or you could save your money, leverage your money, and use other people's money.
All right, there you have it, guys.
I got it.
All right, Ty has, here we go. Ty, yes, I will read it. This is.
Don't read that name.
What, are you serious? Okay.
Oh, wow.
So this individual suggested that ultimately we stop lying.
Read what he said.
Stop lying. But you know what is this sucker born every day? I don't know who you think you're talking to. So I guess we the Barnum Bailey circus, sucker born every day. Okay. Wow.
You know, like even when I got interested in it, I used to watch the Carlton Sheet stuff, and I probably had that same attitude. But when my friend and his now wife were going to real estate school, they really struck my interest, so I didn't act on it. So when I saw the Carlton Sheets infomercial again, even though they don't tell you anything, it's just promoting the thing or whatever. Similar to the video that he replied to with me, is that my thought to myself, they can't be lying. Well, I said he can't be lying about all of this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. So it made me go investigate it more. So I'm just not gonna. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm not just going. I'm just not going to automatically just say something ain't what it is. Because most of the time, most of the stuff. Not most, but a lot of stuff that people do to make money and make substantial amount of money that the average person doesn't, is that either they're doing something that the masses don't know, right? Or the masses are not willing to do. You know what I'm saying? As far as putting the time in to educate themselves and the actual work into it or whatever. So most people you can't, how can you possibly do a real estate deal with no cash or credit? Well, you can. You know what I'm saying? What like all these people, but like me and all the other cats you see on YouTube and whatever, we just all got together and said, hey, we just gonna get out of here and we're gonna scam people. So that what you're saying. That's what happened. We all know each other. And so we just gonna put all this videos out here. And people, we getting actors, just average people. They look like the average people, but they really actors. You know what I'm saying? Right. Saying, hey, I just made this much money, blah, blah, blah. And they go through their scenario or whatever. Right. So is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. That's almost saying like wholesale is a scam. You can wholesale anything.
Anything. You can always be the
anything. Most every retail company right now are wholesalers. They buy wholesale and they put it on their shelf for retail.
And like Walmart,
everything is almost wholesale business.
They just put it on the shelves, and then you get their money after they get their money, just like
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And I also related to drop shipping. Drop shipping basically saying that, hey, I don't have this inventory, but I have the right to market this inventory, and if you buy it, I'm gonna go buy it from them and sell it and send it to you. But I don't have.
You don't even have it yet. You're not even gonna buy it until you buy it.
Your money is going to buy it.
It's the same thing.
Your money is going to buy it and pay me. That's business. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Your money is going to buy it and pay me. I'm marketing to you. It's the same thing. Yeah. Like drop ship.
Wow. Cordero says Carlton Sheets. Wow, I was a teenager passing out flyers for him. Woo!
Wow.
Going to show
Wow.
how old somebody is. Mr. Business says you should ask him when he was born. That was the minute a sucker was born. Yeah, we couldn't all be together. We'd be too foolish. Yeah. And for anybody, I see a lot of people saying what happened on IG, is Instagram down? No, Instagram only allows for 1 hour of recording. So that's how I know for sure we didn't gave y'all one full hour, because Instagram goes down. And as usual, we typically go over, guys. We're here typically every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes, that's right. And we are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you missed it or if you joined us late, don't worry. This video is available for you to watch again on YouTube. And then also, as you're watching the live Flippinars, which this is number 94, you can watch any one of the 350 videos that Ty has out there. Make sure you get that contract. Make sure you, if you're ready to step your game up, make sure you get Miss Renicia's information. Check out one of the 100 sites that Ty has to offer. All of them probably has some information that's going to help you in this wholesaling venture. 100 is coming up. The 100th Flippinar is coming up, and it's going to be spectacular. Ty has some good stuff that he's going to present to you guys next week. Rennie is going to be here. I'm going to be here. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. Holla.
Bye.